Good evening, everybody. This is the Dandy channel. I am the host, Dandy, and today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for a long time. And I always thought, okay, I want to address this in some way, never knew how. I just decided now to make a video where I just ramble about the topic, and I'll have some gameplay on in the background. I'll play live while I'm talking about it to keep me occupied, but this is not supposed to be a visually entertaining video. It's mainly about the topics I want to talk about, so you can have this on in the background as kind of a little podcast where I talk about something. I speak my mind, and you can agree or disagree with me in the comments if you want to. That is fine by me. I am sick, you can probably hear it. I've been sick for a while. I wanted to talk about this for a while. I figure by the time I'm healthy again, I will have forgotten what to talk about. So it's now or never. And so I wanna speak my mind right now. Also, I'm German, you can probably tell, but just so you don't have to think about what my accent is for half of the video. I'll just say it right now. Anyway, real quickly, New Game Plus. This is my New Game Plus character. This is not the complete Rolana set. I paired it with the Carrion Knight boots because I think they look really well together, as well as the Confessor gloves and the bandit mask. I think this outfit is great, but not part of it. I do want to say a few things to give you an idea of why I'm talking about this, what prompted me to talk about this, and so that I can explain myself. I absolutely love FromSoft games, and I absolutely love FextraLife, right? And the title of my video might be misleading because you see the first half of the video, you think, what did they do? You know, is there some kind of controversy? And it's not at all that, okay? That's why there's two parts to the video title, and the second part is arguably the more important one. The gripes I have with the website are by no means their fault. It's just something that I've noticed and that I wanted to talk about. And that I think is not easily fixed, but it can be easily dealt with. So the reason I love FromSoft games is because of FextraLife. When I first wanted to get into FromSoft games, it was Dark Souls 3, the first Dark Souls I ever played, and I wanted to play it. I've heard a lot of things about FromSoft games, about the Dark Souls games, that they're incredibly hard. I wanted to experience them for myself because the setting is great, but I told myself I cannot do it without some proper guidance, which is, you know, Elden Ring relevant. But I opened up the game, I was immediately intimidated, and so I opened up the internet, typed in Dark Souls 3 walkthrough, and I came across FextraLife, and it actually changed my gaming life, you could say. I've never seen such a well-structured, well-organized and well-maintained website that is a wiki for a video game or for a series of video games, and FextraLife spans so many video game franchises and just does an amazing job. And I just want to say that I deeply appreciate all that FextraLife is doing for the gaming community. And I breezed through Dark Souls 3 with the guidance. I didn't miss a single thing. I was always prepared when an enemy was about to jump me, which would have probably gotten a heart attack had I not known that enemies were jumping me, because I do not like jump scares. I do not like horror games. I like when others play it. I don't like playing them myself, and so it was deeply appreciated that the walkthrough pointed these things out. And with the help of the walkthroughs, I went on to play other FromSoft games, and I've played them all besides Demon's Souls and Bloodborne, because those are exclusives and I play on PC, so you know. Here's hoping that Bloodborne gets released at some point. But yeah, when I played Elden Ring, I deeply enjoyed, once again, using the walkthrough to get through the game. But there were some things that I noticed that spanned through the walkthroughs, like some conflicting quest lines where that page of the walkthrough said to do this, but the walkthrough generally follows quest lines, and certain decisions would just interfere with the quest lines. They would cancel each other out and whatnot. And obviously this is not a linear game, it's an open world game, so you cannot have the be-all end-all solution to going through this game from A to Z and be happy with that. There's always going to be something, right? A New Game Plus exists. But I've noticed little minor details like directions being mixed up. I mean, this is the first FromSoft game, I think, to feature a compass. Maybe Sekiro had it, I can't remember. But it would say go north, but it would be south instead, or go west and it would be east instead. Which is sometimes very confusing, and I don't know how you mix those two up, because, yeah, I mean, I get left or right, but forwards and backwards, very interesting how you mix those two up. Again, we're all humans, and this is not a walkthrough written by a single person, I think. I am a member of the Discord channel, and I know that there's a lot of community interaction where you can write passages on the wiki, you can edit pages, you can do a lot, right? It's not just one person doing it all. And I have been going to the wiki and editing certain pages, certain passages on the pages to make it more understandable, because I've had trouble understanding certain passages. So instead of just complaining about it, I changed them, edited them, and that was that. There were some things that actually stunned me. There's one thing that I'm gonna show you right now, one passage that was very interesting to come across, and I actually made the mistake of following it to a T in my first ever run. So this location, this is in Stormvale. I confuse names, so I had to look it up. So Stormvale. This shortcut elevator is not usually unlocked. You have to go around, and you will eventually come to this area. Right from up there, you will drop down, and then this is barred by the statue, and this is the only open door. And you can open this with a stone sword key, and then you go in here. Most of you will know this, but just to give you a clear picture of what's happening. And so you go in here, there's a big enemy there, I killed it, but yeah. You've been fighting a lot while getting to this point, and the walkthrough does not acknowledge this door, I think, or it used to not acknowledge this door. Instead it said go straight to this place with two dog enemies. One of them is stronger than the other one, and on this pile of corpses there is an item, a key item actually, for an NPC quest. Let me just quickly kill these dogs so that they don't interfere with anything. I love this weapon. Yeah, and then you pick up this item. And now the walkthrough, first of all, suggesting to go to this area before unlocking the shortcut was very interesting to me, because after fighting for so long, maybe tackling and fighting this big enemy, you would want to have a shortcut so you get to this area quicker from the side of grays, right? But first of all, they say go straight instead of going here. I wouldn't do it that way. I would first unlock this elevator because you can always come back here. But the bigger gripe I had with the section was that they said collect the key item and then teleport back to the table of round grays. The round table of lost grays, whatever it's called. You know, the hub where all the NPCs are. Without activating this elevator. And I did that in my first playthrough because I'm following the walkthrough to a T. And then it said, yeah, and then you can unlock the shortcut elevator. And I was like, wait, what? That was an option? There's a shortcut elevator. And so I went to the wiki, and actually you will be able to find the section that I changed. It's in brackets where I said, before teleporting back, first unlock the shortcut elevator. It's a very important step, right? But again, it's an inconvenience to not include that in a walkthrough, but I totally get it. We're all humans. Maybe you didn't think about that when you wrote the walkthrough, whatever. Other people can change it, can edit it. And so that was easily fixed, right? I wrote 2 sentences and that was that. It was an experience, a mistake I learned from, and in subsequent playthroughs, I always go for the elevator first. That's totally fine. But it's little things like that that I noticed that sometimes don't make a lot of sense on the walkthrough. Again, not an issue, not a problem. The real issue I want to talk about has to do with the DLC walkthrough. Because I have noticed I wouldn't say stark drop in quality, but there is a noticeable drop in the quality of how the walkthrough is written between the base game and the DLC. The biggest thing I actually reached out on the Discord to talk about it is there is a place in the DLC, a dungeon, let's say, that you can go through with a lot of paths, a lot of, twisting paths, a lot of enemies. It's very difficult. It's DLC, so it's very difficult, and having to do certain walkbacks again gets tedious and annoying, so you want to be prepared. And my go-to formula is a walkthrough tells you where to go, when to go there, and what to expect when going there, right? That's a walkthrough. It's a step-by-step guide of going through the game. But some sections of the DLC walkthrough have been written in a way that it's a different approach, because there's literally a section in that dungeon. It's an ice dungeon where you go downwards and it's a lot of jars and so on. It says this is a section with a lot of items. It lists the items, and then it says take your time to explore this section. Once you're done, follow this walkthrough or this path. And that's crazy to me for a number of reasons. It doesn't go into detail on where enemies are, where to expect enemies. It doesn't tell you how to get to the items. And ideally, following a step-by-step guide is not how you should experience these FromSoft games. And I totally understand them. I myself I am intimidated by FromSoft games, and I could not go through them without following a walkthrough. This is why I love FextraLife so much, because they have such amazingly detailed walkthroughs of where to go and what to expect, and not leaving anything out. That's what I loved about their walkthroughs always. And now the DLC features so many walkthroughs where it says take time to explore or go there, but it doesn't tell you what to expect while on that way. And it's not very detailed either. It's a it gives you general guidance, but not the details, right? You are to experience the details for yourself. And I understand what they do with that, right? They don't want to hold your hand while you go through the game. They want to give you some tips and leave you at that. But in my philosophy, in my idea, or in my ideal, a walkthrough really is a step-by-step guide where they follow you each step of the way. And they don't leave you in the dark about it. But the DLC walkthroughs really are written like that. And again, it's not curated and it's not written by a single person. There's a lot of people coming together to write these walkthroughs, right? And to edit them and to improve them. So it's not their fault that the walkthroughs are less detailed now. Maybe it's a new direction they took, then it would kind of be their fault. But mostly what I think it is everybody can write a walkthrough. And so someone takes the time out of their day to write this walkthrough, but maybe they're not as skilled to include all the details, right? And you would be insane to scold that person for writing a walkthrough, because they took time out of their day to do it so that you don't have to, right? And you should be grateful. And the tools are there to improve what's already there. My problem was, it was my first run through the DLC, so I want to experience the DLC without writing and editing pages constantly. You know, I would have needed 5 days where I only needed 2 to experience most of the DLC. And the easy fix is to go through the game, and if you notice that something is amiss, you just change it yourself, right? And that's why the video is titled, you know, my biggest gripe with FextraLife and why it's not their fault, because it's really not their fault that I take issue with how the walkthrough is written, and the tools to improve it are there. It's just, I noticed it so much in the DLC that the level of detail that the base game walkthroughs had is just not there for the DLC. Another thing that I noticed is sometimes, because the walkthrough is written in paragraphs, right? So it's not just a big wall of text from beginning to end. No, it's structured, which is fantastic. But sometimes a paragraph would end where it would tell you, if you walk ahead, there is an item like a ghost love word that you can pick up, right? And the next section will begin with, be careful though, because there is 2 imps cornering you once you pick up the item. In my mind, that last part should still be attached to the previous paragraph. So it warns you when you go to an item, there's enemies. But instead, it tells you to pick up an item, and once you do, you scroll down to the next paragraph while 2 imps are attacking you because you haven't been warned before. So there's some structure things in the walkthrough that can and should, in my mind, be changed, but again, I could do it. What I find interesting is there's been a lot of comments in the wiki for the DLC walkthrough saying that it's not well written, which it is well written, but it could be better. But a lot of people complain about it, not a lot of people change it. And maybe that's something that happened for the base game because it's been out a lot longer, where people took the time out of their day to change it. But for the DLC, that's not been done a lot. I don't know. I wanted to make it a little entertaining. I'm not walking around because I'm thinking about what I'm talking about. Yeah, there are some things with the... I've actually gotten mad multiple times while going through the DLC because of the way it was written. I'm gonna be honest. There were some things where I just got frustrated at how the walkthroughs were written and how much was left out of them. once again, because of how I see or what my image of a walkthrough is. But this is just my thoughts about the topic. I hope you could understand what I'm trying to bring across. This was not a structured video. I was literally just talking about what was on my mind. I thought about writing a script, but I'm not a script guy. I cannot follow a script. I love just riffing and saying what's on my mind. I hope this was still entertaining. Let me know what you thought about my thoughts and what you thought. If I'm correct in my opinion, so if I'm wrong, either way, I appreciate the feedback, and I want to have a discourse about this. I want to know what you guys think about this, because with the DLC, really, there's a lot of passages that could be reworked and that maybe have been written with a different goal in mind, you know, just being a general guideline without hand-holding, when that's what I want from a walkthrough. Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful day or evening whenever you're watching this. I don't know, I'm not doing videos often, so I don't know when I'll do the next one. I hope this was entertaining a little bit, or at least thought-provoking. Once again, I want to say I am not faulting FextraLife for this, and I'm not saying they're a bad website or that they do a bad job. They do an amazing job. They have amazing community interaction on the Discord. I can vouch for that myself. So much so that when Elden Ring, the base game, was released, I have been all over the wiki, you know, just writing paragraphs, editing, and so on. I don't have as much time anymore, which is why I'm kind of reaching out to you guys to maybe take part in that, because it's very easy to edit the wiki. Whatever you write will be checked by the moderators, but generally, if you have a very well-reasoned and very well-written change for wiki page, it will be implemented and it will be used. So yeah, without further ado, until next time, or maybe never, I don't know, have a good day and goodbye.